Hi, welcome to Punchline Talks, the business breakfast briefers. My name is Mark Owen, and each week I invite a panel of business experts to review the morning newspapers, find out what's happening in their own individual business and their own individual business sectors, and finally, what's caught their eye in this week's Punchline. But before I start, I'd just like to thank our fantastic sponsors, Hayswords Accountants and Business Advisors, who we couldn't do the show without them. Okay, let's meet the panel. We've got Dr. Polly Peck. She's the Director of Business Engagement and Partnership at the University of Gloucestershire. They have 9,000 students, 1,000 staff, a turnover of 70 million. And as we all know, they're developing and regenerating the old Debenhams building into a massive university campus in the centre of Gloucester. So we'll be finding about that, and also what they're doing in the hospitality sector, making waves in London. So look forward to that. We've got Matt Cass. He's the director of Cass Stevens Insurance. He's also director of Parkshaw. The company himself has an 8 million turnover, 25 staff, and they specialise in, this is the Parkshaw, which I hopefully will find all about, specialise in providing residential, park, home, static caravan, holiday and lodge insurance, and more people have been holidaying at home. So we'll find out all about that as well. Looking forward to that. We've got business manager of the Gloucester bid, which is Emily C. Gibbon. Emily, I can't spell it out because I've done it the wrong way around. Emily Gibbon. In 2024, it's a big year for the city. And there's so many different events happening. So really looking forward to that. And the tour ships are back, aren't they, Emily?
They are indeed, yes.
Looking forward to that. And last but not least, we've got Nick Broady. He's the Managing Director of Avenue Cars, Chair of the Pied Piper will appear. He's also the Chairman of Gloucester Rugby Charitable Foundation Trust. So looking forward to finding out about the motor dealerships and what's going on there. Okay, let's have a quick look at what's making the headlines. Right, The Guardian. Britain and UK is poised to launch strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. Now, the news has changed since the papers were written. We've actually attacked them, apparently. The Eye. UK prepares for strikes in Yemen. The Daily Mail. Grit your teeth and keep prosecuting was the outcome of the Post Office. UK blitz warning to Iran. The Times. Airlines on Houthis after strife in Red Sea. The Daily Express. Britain and US unite to strike against Iran-backed rebels. The Daily Telegraph, US-UK prepared strikes on Houthi rebel base. Again, on the front page of the Post Office. The Financial Times, Iran raises threat to Mid-East shipping lanes with seizure of oil tanker in the Gulf. The Daily Star, very sad story. Sven, I have a year left to live at best. The Metro, ex-England boss Sven, I have a year to live and appreciate every single day. And the Daily Mirror, so proud of you. This is Rob and Kevin Rob received the CBEs from Prince William. Okay, let's go back to the panel. Thank you ever so much for joining us. We won't go into the war in Yemen. That's dominating. But let's be honest, what's dominating the homepages has been the Post Office. Polly, I know your family's been working in the Post Office. Can you tell us?
Yes. So, it's years ago now, but we had, my parents retired and had a post office. We moved and had a post office, and family friends and things like that. So I've been very interested in this right from the start, because we could so easily have been caught up in it. And it's been tragic. It's affected people's lives hugely. It's affected relationships. People have lost everything. We know 4 people have killed themselves because of this, and you put yourself in that position, and it's incredible that people have actually come out the other end. There's been a lot in the papers and in the press about why it's taken a drama to get everybody so excited about it, and as you can tell, I've followed this quite closely, but it actually took watching that drama for me to understand exactly how much bad faith there was on the part of the Post Office Limited. I'd assumed it was a sort of corporate ineptitude and a bit of a tin ear to people's issues, but they had thousands of people who were raising problems. So we know 700 people were prosecuted, which is terrible and needs sorting. But if you were a sub postmaster at that point, if you were down in your accounts, you had to put the money in. And there are thousands and thousands of people who, to avoid prosecution, put the money in and lost thousands through no fault of their own at all, in businesses that you don't even talk about margin in a sub post office. You get the equivalent of a salary that you have to pay things out of. So it did need that whole drama to actually show exactly how much, how aggressive the post office were in dealing with it.
And the guy, I don't know if you watched the TV and the news yesterday, but the guy was a real bruiser, wasn't he? You can imagine him being a postmistress, giving them a really, really hard time. You really felt for them. I haven't seen the program, and we spoke about it before coming on air, and I know Emily hasn't. Nick and Matt, you've both seen it. So Nick, what did you think of it?
Polly said it's horrendous. To watch it's very interesting, Mark. You should watch it. It really does give it a lot more detail. And I think, as Polly said, without the programme, the general public in this country would know a lot about it. But it's very sad with the people that committed suicide. It's very sad that the families lost their homes. Disgraceful, really. And I just don't get it. How on earth they sent their teams in to deal with these post office individuals, suddenly shut them off, suddenly demand their homes. And they surely, I think it was 550 postmasters they had to get a backing to actually go and sue the post office. I think they won 58 million. I think 46 million went in cost. They got 20 grand each. But obviously things have moved on again since the programme. But yeah, absolutely, Polly, it's absolutely, totally wrong. And I just cannot see how on earth the government or a company that size could not pick up the fact that, hey, there must be something wrong. Fujitsu, well, I think they've got a lot to answer for, and I personally think they'll be paying a lot of money back.
Well, they should pay it back, isn't it? It's as simple as
Absolutely.
that.
I think there's something, somebody said a figure, Fujitsu are doing something like, I don't know, 650 million pounds of projects for the government. Listen, the profit they're having, just put your hands up, just pay those people, put their lives right.
Yeah,
Put their
without
lives
shutting down. I'm going to bring Matt in. Matt, you watched the program as well again.
I agree. I watched it with my wife, and the one thing that sprung to my mind, apart from what Nick said about, it took so much money to actually bring a prosecution, a joint prosecution, which shouldn't actually happen. If you're the little guy, it brought out the fact that the money talks. They just went to appeal and appeal and appeal until people ran out of money. That shouldn't actually happen, should it? The people with the most money shouldn't automatically win. It should be on the side of the person who's in the right, which is obviously the postmasters.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely horrendous. I'm going to move away from the story there because we've only got so much time. I'm going to go to you, Emily, and let's see what you've picked out from the media today.
Yeah, it was a fresh story this morning about the public right of ways being blocked and just not maintained. The amount of footpaths that we've got in the UK, which we're blessed for, and obviously we've got quite a few. I mean, I like going for a nice stroll around the countryside, and every now and then there is the obstruction of brambles, of fences, and there is that relationship of private land and who owns it, but who can maintain it. And I think the issue is it's coming down to, it's not down to local authorities, it's down to partnerships. And it's knowing how we go about to keep these routes open. And we've got some great ones through the city and around the city. And is it down to volunteering? Is it down to partnership? I don't know if you guys all like going for a stroll or a walk around, if you've got a favourite route, and if you've ever found that blocked, and how you get around it. What's the alternative? I know it's a bit far different from business, but it's about getting out there and enjoying the countryside.
Is it the right of way as well? So you've got a right of way. You could go on the land, but the land is actually blocked because of the brambles and they're not being maintained.
Yeah, quite a lot of it. I mean, it's a mixed bag. Right of way, the landowner could have changed. People might have they've abused their rights. They might have littered. They might have dogfouled and just not, cared for where they're walking. It's just an interesting story to think about. I think there's 32,000 places across England and Wales have been obstructed. And you kind of think, hang on a minute, is it because we're not using it enough? Do we need to promote them more? Do people need to exercise more? Or do we need to talk to the landlords, landowners? It's a sort of partnership thing of like, who's responsible?
Well, it's a story I think it's gonna run and run or stroll and stroll. Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Emily. I'm going to go to you, Nick. Nick, what have
Yeah.
you picked out from the national media today?
Well, actually, you brought it up on your press, which I'm talking about Charity Day, Mark, as you know, in Gloucestershire, very much without our charities in this county wouldn't be what it is. But one of the things you put up on your screen was actually about the CBs giving to the guys Rob Burrows
Oh, yes, yeah.
and Kevin Sinfield. I thought it was amazing to give these guys an award for what they've done and the money they've raised. Obviously, for me, this is a big part now of me going forward with Gloucester Rugby, because 4Ed has come under the Charitable Foundation. So to give you an idea, we'll talk about it a bit more in a second, but 4Ed is a major part of this county, and we'll talk about the costs and the reason why these families need. And MND has become a major part of our community now. And I'm so pleased that these guys got awarded. I think they were trying to raise 77.7 thousand, and I've got a feeling they raised something ridiculous like 15 million. They did amazing, and of course the royal family has gone along and he's thanked them greatly, and I've run their family in their hometown, and that's what charity is about. That's what we should be thanking these people for raising the money and the awareness. If I could tell you, speaking and now dealing with Gloucester Rugby, the families are struggling so badly with MND. It's terrible. And the cost of lifts in their house, even a wheelchair wheels, 3.5 grand. I mean, they can't afford it. So without this happening, making it more aware in the public domain and people supporting it, then we're not going to be able to help people. So I'm really pleased this happens.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing for me. But
I mean, it's been...
There is
it has been really inspirational watching the rugby and watching the guys, what they've done. And I didn't realise they played together for 500 times. You know, and also there's that element, if you want to know the truth, the way I look at it, of love.
Yeah,
you know, he obviously loves his friend so much. You know, you could just see it, that sort of personal sacrifice that he's doing to help him. I think there's a deeper story there, you know, of friendship, of male friendship. We don't talk about it very much.
No.
That's to me that really sinks home. Sorry, Nick, I'm going to have to move you on to Matt.
Just to say, it was 2.7 million they raised. I thought they raised 77 grand, so pretty good. So that was my. But we'll talk a bit more about MND when I come on to Gloucester Rugby.
Okay, thanks ever so much, Matt. Okay, Matt, what have you picked out from the national press today?
Well, it's been overtaken by the war, but obviously last week we've had the floods. So I still buy the Citizen because I find there's less adverts in the paper edition than there is on the online one. And the one thing that, I mean, it's hard to believe, but somewhere in there is the 7, but you just can't see it because of the sheer volume of water. And I was talking to a friend of mine from the Environment Agency, and she said, you can dredge the rivers, you can build the banks up, it still won't work because just the sheer volume of water that comes down, you're going to flood. It's been doing it for a millennium. It's going to carry on long after we've died. You just need to adapt to it. And I mean, from an insurance point of view, of course, we have to deal with all the time. We're old hats at dealing with it. But you've just got to stop building on floodplains. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that, about floodplains, because obviously we've got them around here, and we have been building on them in long levens. And being an insurer, you must actually just can't.
Shake your head at it. I mean, the one behind us, so we're in Longford, so they built on Horsebury and Mews, and I've seen that field under 1 foot of water. But what they've done has actually worked. So it hasn't actually flooded, but you've begs the question, what happened to the water that would have been there? Where's that gone? Have we just passed that down the river, kicked it down the can down the road? So I think you've got to have a longer, I'm not talking from an insurance point of view here, but you've got to think when you're building on a floodplain, that's designed for the water to seep away. So if you build on it, it's just going somewhere else, you know, further down the river, flooding someone else. I think you need to take a longer term view on it, to be honest.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I was involved as the chairman of the Federation of Small Business in 2007 when we had that massive floods, and it was horrendous. I had my office in your place, wasn't it, Nick? And
That's right.
actually, in the old building there, it was completely completely surrounded. The football field was flooded. There's only us in the building at one point. Anyway, no, thanks. Very good story, Matt, and well covered by the Citizen Echo, actually, to be fair to
Yeah,
them.
they did a great
Okay,
job.
let's move on to our own individual area, if that's okay. We'll go back over to you, Polly, and the University of Gloucestershire. Very quickly, how's it moving in Debenhams? I was there a little while ago. Very exciting. Big, massive.
Yes.
It's a bit of a money pit, isn't it? I mean,
Oh yes. It's a bit grand designed, you know. So it has grown as a project, and you know, they in the early stages they found lots of things. We had skeletons and all sorts of stuff, but it's coming on now, and if you walk around the site you can begin to see what it's going to be. And I think the interesting bit for me is how the area around it, how King Square is kind of starting to shape up. So, you know, it will have the desired impact when we get in there. So we're hoping that we'll be in there sort of, well, using it end of this year, beginning of next year. The point at which we'll timetable, I think we keep renegotiating, but we will be in there.
because I was talking to the builders and they were saying to us, it's actually 4 buildings all glued together, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
simple as-
it's very odd. I saw your bit that you did, which was very, very interesting. Thank you for doing that. I went round it at a sort of slightly earlier stage, and you can see there's lots of different sort of eras that building has sort of grown through. And the building itself, I think, if people remember it when it was Debenhams, that was less than a third of the kind of footprint of the building that you could actually access at that point. It's massive. So they've done their best to kind of keep the texture of the building and keep the different interests. So there's like 1930s bits and 1950s bits. So I think it's going to be spectacular when it's open.
I totally agree. When you see the size of it, hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, I quickly flicked around. I only had 8 minutes to run up and down all over the place, and yeah, it's the sheer scale of it all. Let's go over to the work that you're doing in London and the sort of groundbreaking hospitality stuff the university's working on. Can you just give us an oversight of that very quickly?
Yeah. So you and I have been involved with lots of reviews of business and particularly hospitality, and how hospitality has really struggled to get staff and to get the right staff with the right skills. And we've collaborated with a group of several groups of hotels in London, including the Dorchester, the Marriott, the Park Plaza, and Red Carnation. And we're launching a chartered manager degree apprenticeship in hospitality management this week. And that program, over sort of between 3 and 4 years, will help those businesses to find their managers of the future, and will give them all-round experience, but also an academic honours degree at the end of it. So they'll be very well qualified. The hotels will get the staff that they need, and those students will come out with a degree without the debt that you would normally associate with doing a normal degree program. So it really is a win-win. We do the same program in Gloucestershire. We start that in September, but London is where the real demand is. So yeah, so we're very proud of that, and we've invited our local MPs to the launch next week. So we'll see, but yeah, no, we're very pleased with how that's going.
Well done. Congratulations, Polly. I know how much work and effort goes into that as well. Okay, let's go over to you, Emily. Let's talk about well, the bid. Actually, let's start at the bid. How many members are there of the bid? I know you've been involved since the very beginning. This is the second term.
It is, yes.
So how many members are there?
We
and
have.
What's the program before moving forward?
We've just got over 400 members in our bid area, which covers the city centre, the Gate Street, the docks and the quays. We have an income of just under £400,000, which gets spent back into the city on various projects which the businesses have set up and which they vote in for, such as a safer city, a vibrant, attractive city, and supported and promoted city. And we've got some variety of things going on constantly. And focusing on this year, we've got some lovely events coming up that we always look forward to, such as the tall ships, which is great to have back in again. There's going to be a different sort of twist to it, which is going to be exciting because these things need to evolve, need to change, and also cater for different audiences that we've got coming into the city, but also to reach those visitors that actually haven't visited the city before and go, actually, I like the look of that. Let's go and find out. Let's book a hotel room for a couple of nights. Let's spend some cash in some local businesses and enjoy ourselves, and then, you know, investigate the surrounding area in the county. And we're really looking forward to bringing tall ships back. We're working very closely with the City Council, who will be bringing it in. And there are conversations going around at the moment, which, and you can also pre-book your tickets soon. On the 25th, the tickets will be coming out. But if you want to be in the running to win some competition tickets, you can join the mailing list and you might get a weekend ticket for free, who knows. But we also do things like the folk trail, that's in February, half term. Fills the streets with Morris dancing, workshops. We've got the cinema involved at the Guildhall. They're playing the Wicker Man. So if you're a fan of the Wicker Man, which turned 50 this year as well, which is fantastic. But also in February this time, in half term, we've got the anti-violence Manchester Bee coming, which is part of the Knife Angel legacy. And that'll be coming on the 16th to the 18th of February, and it will be in King Square, the Cathedral and the Docks. And it's just a good sort of story, a follow-on story about you know, there is that issue out there with violence, and how do we combat it? And yes, they're very sad stories that come out of it, but it does stop people and make them think, like the Knife Angel had last year. Again, retro will come back again this year. Retro is always a good one for the city, but it's always good that these businesses see that their money is being invested that can draw footfall in, and those events are the highest peaking footfall events for the city, and that's where they get the biggest turnover as well.
Let's just very quickly for the retro side
Yeah.
of stuff. How many people does that draw in over that weekend? Any
It's
idea?
a very good question. I actually haven't got the figures for this one. It does bring in a lot of people, and it always looks busy because you've got cars filled in the city centre as well. But because it's been able to spread, the first few years it wasn't down in the docks, and now we've extended it to the docks and the quays area. I'm afraid I don't actually have the figures for the numbers for this year just gone, but we do know we get a good following because the people follow the cars. The car owners tell the car fans, and they will follow them throughout the country, which is fantastic. There is scope to look at it to make it two days instead of just one day, and possibly do something alternative on the Sunday, because the people are already in the city, and it'd be quite nice to offer them something alternative to retro-esque, but we're not quite sure where we go to on that one. But that's
There was a really great retro thing that used to be going on in the Blackfriars. I remember going to a sort of retro clothing, retro crafts. I mean, we're running out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Emily. I've got to, you know.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, hogging it.
No. Absolutely amazing. Great job that you do there as well. So congratulations on that. So let's go over to you, Matt, and I mean, we've known each other quite some time, and obviously you've worked really hard on the insurance fronts. But lots of people perhaps don't know about the Parkshaw side of the business of Cass Stevens. So can you give us an overview of that, please? And obviously the static caravan holiday lodge, because more and more of us are holidaying at home, aren't they?
Yeah. No, Cass Stevens has been going like a community broker, if you like. We've been in. Set up by my dad in 1966, so we'll be 60 years in a couple of years. But what a lot of people think we just do household motor, but we do large commercial. We're nationwide, to be honest. And it reminds me, James needs to contact Nick about his insurances. But I run the Parkshaw scheme, which is a national scheme for mobile homes. You might know them as residential park homes, holiday lodges, static caravans. And during COVID, people seem to fall back in love with England. So a lot of people, we saw a huge surge in people buying static caravans and holiday lodges, and you know, like I said, falling back in love with England and Scotland and you know, and Wales as well. The only problem is, of course, you can't guarantee the weather, which is why everybody's gone abroad for decades. So yeah, we've seen a huge surge of people buying holiday lodges and static caravans. In fact, it's overtaken the residential side. So yeah, we've done really well on that side.
So how much of that is your turnover now? I mean, is that big a part of your business?
I think we're about 1.35. So it's not the be end and end all of Cass Stevens, but it's quite a sizable chunk for a scheme. We've got a few nationwide national schemes. So yeah, it's gone from strength to strength, to be honest. Plus, it's always a bit of a worry with the floods. But the way insurance works is catastrophe insurance. You never have all your eggs in one basket. So if an entire park got wiped out, we would never own or never insure all that park. Basically, the insurance company wouldn't allow us. So we might just have small chunks of different parks in flood areas. So the scheme won't ever go under if a park got wiped out, which they all have flood defences now as well. So
I mean, it must be getting harder and harder from the insurance point of view with the weather that we're having in this country. I mean, how the hell do you kind of work out whether a property is actually, let's be honest, Aldi Island, it floods nearly any time there is a flood, it always floods.
Yeah.
So why would an insurance company flood them, insure them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if you asked any other industry, would you take a few £100 knowing full well that you're inevitably going to have to fork out tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on a regular basis? I mean, 2007 was a 1 in 100 flood. 2024 was close, so it's happening more and more. So I don't know any other industry which would have a lost leader like that. Here's a few £100, you're going to have to fork out 100,000, but they still do it. But you do end up paying for it, of course. If you're in a high-risk flood area, you're going to end up paying for it. But what's worrying is the amount of people who, even nowadays, bearing in mind, looking at that, who don't have insurance, or because of the cost, they say they can't afford it. I say, you can afford not to have it. You could wipe out your entire savings from a flood. So.
Okay, no, thanks ever so much for that, Matt. It's a bit like I don't understand people who don't buy holiday insurance either.
Yeah.
Going to America.
Don't get me started on that.
We'll have to get you back, talk about it another day. Thanks ever so much. Okay, Nick, we are running short of time. We've got 3 minutes, mate. I know you've got lots to talk about. Let's talk about the car dealership at the moment. Okay, so you've got Avenue Cars, you moved it. What's the business like at the moment?
Well, just in brief and very quickly, obviously after COVID, the industry went through the roof, prices went through the roof, lack of new cars, no used cars on the market, prices held. But we have seen over the last few months a major crash. Right. There's some major losses out there being put around. Constellation Group, who owned Cinch, big retail place, they own British Car Auctions, they'll We Buy a Car, have just posted 140.7 million losses for last year, with the previous year 30 million profit. We've seen in the last 2 months a 10% drop in used car prices. That caused a major problem with stock, and of course a major problem with the retail. You've got a massive difference between the trade cost and the retail cost. We won't quite see the change majorly at the top end of the retail prices, but the back end is definitely dropped off. So major problems and major losses to come across the whole of the industry, and that's just the beginning of it.
And what about Kazoo? Because Kazoo was in trouble for a while. They can't seem to make any money.
Yeah, they've never made any money. I could talk for ages about Kazoo and the industry and these big groups that lose so much money. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they find the funding still, and investors keep investing, but they try and control the market, and certainly Constellation Group with Marshall Group as well. I think they own 25% of Marshall Group. They're just trying to control everything in the used car industry. And I keep saying that one day the Monopolies Commission will have to step in and say, look, guys, you can't keep pushing like this. But let them crack on if they're losing 140 million a year going forward.
Okay, what about the van? At one point, obviously, again, with people shopping from home, the price of vans went up as Amazon, everybody needed to buy these vans to drive around to deliver the goods at home. Is the market still strong on the van?
Ish, but again, we've had major price drops. So, and there's certain vehicles, certain vans that the industry want. Before Christmas, Enterprise and all the big ones, everything went out on loan to Amazons, to post office, etc. What we're seeing now, they're coming back on the market, but at the new money. So yeah, there's still a demand for vans, there's still a demand for cars, but it's got to be at the right price mark.
Okay, and what about the electric vehicle market? Is that proven strong, or the second hand?
again, when you read all the different papers, you'll see different stories about electric cars, the infrastructure, the problems we've got, the battery issues. Listening to the motor trade and hearing what I'm saying, we're not ready for it properly yet. I mean, I get it that we need it, and they've got to get it right. They need to get it right. And of course, 2035 is not going to be very far away, is it?
No, without a shadow of a doubt. Have you got an electric car, mate?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Go on, Matt. You got one. Okay.
I go on, yeah, and I did a whole blog on the difficulties of the infrastructure, but it's the chicken and the egg thing. So, they won't sell many electric cars until they get the infrastructure, and they won't build the infrastructure until they sold so many electric cars. So it is a bit of you've got to plan your route, which you won't have to do with a petrol car, of course.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, well, okay, Nick, you got a minute, mate. Tell us all about your new role at Gloucester Rugby and what you're doing there.
Okay, so the foundation was started in 2016 at Gloucester Rugby. Obviously, as you know, like you've got Leeds, you've got Wasps, London Irish gone under, and you've got another club gone under. London Irish went under, but their foundation is still going. It is an independent, sit alongside Gloucester Rugby, but part of Gloucester Rugby. This is a big sleeping giant in Gloucestershire at the moment. I was asked by Martin to come in to chair it, to sort the governance issues out, and also help build the unrestricted funds to help local charities in Gloucestershire and families. We've brought an amazing guy called Rob Webber in from Bristol Bears, who's the CEO of the charitable foundation now. And if I could tell you that we changed the lives of 5,000 people already since I've been involved. 4 pillars of the charity is participation, education, well-being, and now we've brought 4Ed under us as well. So you are going to see this grow and grow and grow, but it's just going to carry on making such a big difference in this county. On the restricted funds, just the community projects that we do are huge. I mean, the other day we had 900 children on the rugby pitch. Robert managed to secure football boots and deals we've got. I could talk for an hour on the stuff that's going on, but you'll see in the press how big an impact this is going to make in our community in a very short space of time. And we are Gloucestershire. A lot of people said we help reach out and help elsewhere, but we are the county of Gloucestershire.
When you say see in the press, obviously we'll be backing you all the way, Nick. You know that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've got so much to talk about it, about all the 4 pillars and what we're doing and the difference we're making to lives already. But Rob and his team, in fact, we've gone, since Rob came on 8 months ago, we've gone from 3 staff to 33 staff on the restricted fund side in the community projects with coaches and out to the schools, ladies rugby. You name it, we're on it and we're doing it. It's going to be, I would think, a huge charity and a difference that it'll make in this county.
And I just want to say as well, Nick, what a fantastic job you do, mate, in the community. I know you chair the Pied Piper, you don't get paid a penny for it. You're giving it 11 years of your life to it.
20 now, Mark. Nearly 20 now.
Well, nearly 20 years to it, but I just want to say as well, thank you on behalf of our audience as well. You do an amazing job. Okay, we're running out of time, so we've literally got 3 or 4 minutes left. We're going to go with the pick of the punchlines. I'm going to start with you, Matt. What's the story that you picked from this week's punch, please?
Well, there's a couple I was going to do the one about the council spending 215,000 on local events, but I'll leave that to Emily, I'm sure. They're redeveloping Gloucester jail. But the one I was picking up was your one about Superdry suing Ashari Superdry. Those people don't know that Superdry is Julian Dunkerton. He got the name from when he went over to Japan, and now Japan, this is the Man City sponsor, Asari, have created a beer called Superdry, and he's now suing them. So it's sort of gone full circle, if you like. So I don't know. I don't think they got the name from him, but he is suing them. But I think it's ironic that he got the name from Japan, and now Japan are using his name, if you like. So yeah, hopefully that won't affect my shares in Superdry.
Oh, there's a lot of other problems they've got at Superdry before they affect the shares, mate.
I have every faith in them.
Good man. Okay, thanks ever so much. Polly, what have you picked up from this week's?
There's quite a lot that I noticed this week. Excuse me. I think the one that kind of resonated with me, having just talked about hospitality and problems with getting the right staff and things, was a story about the housing crisis and Stroud District Council pushing back against the sort of normal rhetoric we get about migrants and saying we need these people, we need them in, and we need, you know, they need homes, and they're being put under pressure from the government to find some space for migrant accommodation when they've already got really long waiting lists for their own residents. So it was very good to see them all sort of explaining that in more detail, that they need better policies, they need a more urgent solution from government, rather than just the sort of rolling out the old chestnut of, you know, we don't want migrants because we've got too many people of our own that need accommodation. So I thought that was covered very well. There's quite a lot of nuance and detail in there, and I appreciated that was in there, I think.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll pass it on to our reporter as well. Okay, Nick, what have you picked out from this week's Punch? And then I'll finish with you today, Emily.
For me, Mark, just very quickly, which again, charity for me is huge, as you know. I saw your Right About Gloucestershire builders paying 1.7 million to the community, which I thought was brilliant. Matt's on about we're building houses on floodplains, but actually they are putting something back into the community. And a lot of the money is going to all the right areas as well. So, yeah, I was impressed with that. The fact that I think it was the two companies you mentioned was Barrett Homes and David Wilson Homes. Great. The more money we can get in the community from charity, the more of a difference and impact that we can make. And Gloucestershire, a very happy place. That's what we want.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, let's finish with you today, Emily. What have you picked out from this week's Punch?
Quite a nice few stories in there about positive figures from Christmas and expansions of venues in the Keys, which are doing tremendously well and branching out with varieties. But I'm going to go back to my old roots and look at the archaeology one that you picked out with the Roman mosaic in Chedworth. I don't know if anyone else has watched the Digging for Britain ones, but there've been two fantastic articles. One on the missing link, where they found a banjo enclosure and someone buried inside it. And a banjo enclosure is usually kept with livestock, with cattle. And then obviously the Roman mosaic, which I just think it's really nice to look at the heritage of our county, as well as where we're going, industrial and charity and business. It's always nice to know that our county has been used since pre-Roman times. And I think that's really nice that people have used it for agriculture, and it's still going on strong as well. So that's what sort of caught my eye too.
Okay, well, thank you very much. My story of the week has to be would normally have been the police move on the charities missing 460,000 from Age UK. I don't know if you saw that. The police have been called in because of the missing money. Okay. That would normally be my one, but actually it's the starting gun's been fired for the general election, as our local MPs and local councillors have all started putting their hat in the ring, and they're starting to kick lumps out of each other. So watch this space. We're going to try and follow it as much as we possibly can. I think it's going to be a really heated and nasty election, if you want to know the truth. Lots of dirty tricks going on, and we'll try and bring those over to you. So that would be my kind of pick of the week stories. I'd just like to say thank you ever so much to my fantastic panel. It's been great to have you on board. My wonderful sponsors, Hazelwood's Accountants and Business Advisors, and all of you that watch and enjoy the show. Remember, we'll be back again next week, but until then, it's all in the punchline. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye, Mark.